Hey everyone, welcome back. Are you ready for another AI deep dive? Feels like the AI world is just exploding with new stuff every single day.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it all.
Right. So we're here to help with that. Today we've got a whole bunch of sources to go through. We've got news articles, research papers, even some social media buzz.
Oh, yeah. Got to keep up with the social media.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to try to make sense of it all. Break down the most important things happening in AI right now. AI agents, new potential scaling laws, what OpenAI is up to. They never sleep. It's going to be a wild ride.
Buckle up.
All right, let's dive in. So first up, there's this AI agent called Manus, created by this Chinese startup, Monica. People are comparing it to DeepSeek, which is a big deal.
Yeah, it's causing a lot of buzz.
So what's the deal with this Manus? What makes it so special?
Well, it's designed to be autonomous, like really autonomous. It can handle complex tasks all on its own without needing a human to hold its hand every step of the way. And right now it's invitation only, so that makes it even more mysterious and exclusive, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely adds to the hype.
But the real story here is its performance on the GAIA benchmark. Those scores are turning heads.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask about those scores. What makes them so impressive?
Well, on simpler tasks, Manus achieved an 86.5% success rate. But get this, on complex tasks, the ones that involve multiple steps and a lot of reasoning, it hit 57.7%.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's better than OpenAI deep research, which is saying something.
Yeah, OpenAI, they usually set the bar pretty high.
Exactly. So people are really trying to figure out, like, what is it about Manus that's making it so successful? And it seems like a big part of it is this unique two-layer architecture they've got going on.
2 layers.
Sounds complicated.
It's actually not that bad once you wrap your head around it. Think of it like this. You have a planner and an executor.
Okay, a planner and an executor.
Right. The planner is powered by these fine-tuned Quen models. It's the brains of the operation, you know. It handles the reasoning, figures out how to break down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
So it's like the strategist. Yeah, exactly. And then you have the executor. This is where the action happens. The executor uses Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is pretty powerful on its own. But they've also got a team of 29 specialized sub-agents working under the executor.
Whoa, 29? That's a lot of agents.
It is. And each one of those sub-agents has its own specific skill set. So you've got agents that are great at web search, agents that are experts at natural language processing, agents that can write code, all working together to get things done.
That's like a whole AI workforce right there.
It is. And it seems like that's kind of the secret sauce behind Manus's success. This combination of strategic planning and a diverse set of skills makes you wonder what the future holds if AI agents like this become more common.
Yeah, I can already see it. My own personal AI agent handling all the things I don't want to deal with. Scheduling appointments, booking travel, maybe even writing my emails for me. The possibilities are endless.
Endless is the word. But let's move on to another big player in the AI world, OpenAI. They're always up to something interesting.
Oh yeah, OpenAI. What are they up to now?
Well, they just rolled out this new API called the Responses API. It's a pretty big departure from their chat completions API, which a lot of developers are used to.
API.rack. It all sounds like alphabet soup to me. Can you break it down for us non-techie folks?
Sure. Basically, an API is like a set of instructions that lets different software programs talk to each other. So the Responses API is designed to make it easier for developers to build AI applications that can use tools, execute code, and even manage conversational state.
Okay, so it's like a more powerful, more versatile toolkit for building AI.
Exactly. And there are a couple of things that make it really stand out. First, it simplifies workflows involving tool use, code execution, and state management. This is a huge deal for developers who are trying to build AI applications that can do more than just chat.
And the other thing?
Well, the Responses API marks a pretty big shift in how OpenAI is approaching AI development. It actually replaces their Assistance API, which is going away in 2026. They're constantly innovating and iterating, and the Responses API seems to be a big part of their vision for the future.
So they're not afraid to shake things up.
Not at all. They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
And speaking of shaking things up, they've also got these new default tools that are accessible through the Responses API. One of them is a web search preview tool that gives developers ChatGPT-like search functionality, possibly using OpenAI's own web crawler, which is interesting. Then there's a file search tool that integrates with their vector store for really efficient information retrieval. And get this, there's even a computer use preview tool. This gives developers access to the same computer-using agent system that powers their operator product.
Whoa, hold on. Computer using agent system. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is. This tool could allow developers to create AI applications that can interact with computers in ways we haven't even thought of yet. Imagine AI that can seamlessly navigate software, automate complex tasks, maybe even learn from how humans use computers.
So like AI is becoming a power user.
Right. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for AI applications.
It's mind-blowing. But with all this talk about increasingly powerful AI, I can't help but wonder if there's a limit to how intelligent these models can actually become. Like, is there a ceiling somewhere?
That's a question everyone's asking. And it brings us to a really fascinating figure in the AI world, Ilya Sutskever, co-founder of Inflection AI. This guy is a legend. He was at Google, OpenAI, and now Inflection AI.
I think I've heard that name. Didn't he do some groundbreaking work on deep learning and those big language models?
He did, like he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He was involved in AlexNet, which was a total game changer for computer vision. And he's also been instrumental in developing sequence-to-sequence models, the foundation for transformers. And then there's his work on test-time compute, which led to new training objectives and scaling laws.
So he's basically a rock star in the AI world.
Yeah, pretty much. And now he's saying that he's on a mission to find a new scaling law in AI.
A new scaling law? What does that even mean?
Well, right now, the thinking is that if you want to make AI smarter, you just need to make the models bigger and train them on more data. That's the scaling hypothesis.
So bigger is better.
That's the current idea, yeah.
Hmm.
But Sutskever is questioning that. He thinks there might be a different way to achieve greater intelligence in AI.
So he's challenging the status quo.
He is. He even said he's found a different mountain to climb. He's being a little cryptic about what exactly that means, but it seems like he's exploring new training methods, potentially focusing on scaling inference time tokens instead of just model size. It's pretty complex, but the point is that Sutskever believes there's more to AI intelligence than just brute force.
So maybe it's not just about size, but how you use it.
Something like that, yeah. It's fascinating to think about.
Definitely keeps things interesting. But while we wait to see what Sutskever comes up with, let's talk about another trend that's shaping the AI landscape: strategic partnerships and acquisitions.
Ah, yes. The AI ecosystem is in constant flux, and companies are joining forces to stay ahead of the curve. You're talking about CoreWeave and Weights and Biases, right?
That was a big one. CoreWeave, a company that specializes in cloud infrastructure for AI, they acquired Weights and Biases, which is a leading developer of tools for building and optimizing machine learning models.
It's a perfect match, really. CoreWeave gets this powerful suite of tools for their AI platform, and Weights and Biases gets access to CoreWeave's robust infrastructure. It's a win-win situation.
Makes you wonder who's going to partner up next.
The AI industry is definitely consolidating, and it's only going to accelerate. Companies are realizing that to really succeed in AI, you need to have a comprehensive ecosystem. Hardware, software, specialized talent, it's all got to work together.
It's like a race to build the ultimate AI powerhouse. But with all this focus on the tech side of things, let's not forget about the ethical considerations.
Oh, absolutely. Ethics is a crucial part of the conversation around AI, especially as these systems become more powerful and more integrated into our lives.
Exactly. And speaking of integration, I was reading about this startup called Alea AI. They're targeting pathology labs' legacy systems with AI, which is a pretty niche area, but really important.
It is. Pathology labs are a vital part of healthcare, but their systems are often outdated and inefficient. So Alea AI is using AI to streamline processes, improve accuracy, and make things run more smoothly. It's a great example of how AI can be used to improve healthcare without replacing human expertise.
Right. It's about augmentation, not replacement.
Exactly. And this is just one example of how AI is being applied in healthcare. Did you know that venture capital funding for AI in healthcare is projected to hit $11 billion in 2024?
Wow, that's huge.
It is. It shows that there's a lot of faith in AI's ability to transform healthcare. But of course, with any powerful technology, there are potential risks. One of the big concerns with AI in healthcare is the potential for bias.
Yeah, bias in AI is a big issue in general, but especially in healthcare, where decisions can have life or death consequences.
Exactly. If an AI model is trained on biased data, it can perpetuate and even amplify those biases. So, for example, if a model is trained on data that primarily comes from one demographic group, it might not be as accurate or effective for people from other groups.
That's a scary thought.
It is. But the good news is that people are aware of these issues and are working on ways to address them. There's a lot of research going on right now to develop methods for making AI models more fair, transparent, and accountable.
So there's hope for a more ethical and equitable future for AI in healthcare.
Absolutely. It's just going to take a lot of careful thought, collaboration, and a commitment to using AI for good.
Well, I think that's a great place to pause for now. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our AI deep dive, from autonomous agents to new scaling laws to the ethical considerations of AI in healthcare.
It's clear that the AI world is moving fast and there's so much more to explore.
Exactly. So be sure to join us for part 2, where we'll delve into even more fascinating developments and unpack what they mean for the future of AI.
It's fascinating to see how AI is becoming more, well, agentic. It's not just about building these monolithic AI systems anymore. It's about creating specialized AI agents that can work together like a team.
Agentic, I like that. So it's less about one giant AI brain and more about like a network of smaller AI brains, each with its own specific skills.
Exactly. And OpenAI is really leaning into this with their new agents SDK. It's specifically designed for building custom AI agents.
Oh, yeah.
And these agents can even collaborate with each other.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned something about handoffs between agents.
Right. Imagine you've got an AI travel agent that books your flights and hotels. Then it hands off your itinerary to your financial management AI, which makes sure you've got the funds and maybe even finds you some travel deals. And then that AI coordinates with your healthcare AI to make sure you have all the necessary vaccinations and travel insurance.
That's like having a whole team of AI assistants working behind the scenes to make my life easier. Sign me up.
It's a pretty compelling vision of the future. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about the business side of AI. We talked about CoreWeave and weights and biases teaming up, but there are other big moves happening too. Like, did you hear about Oracle buying all those AMD chips?
Oh, yeah, that was huge. 30,000 chips, if I remember correctly. Sounds like they're going all in on AI.
They are. They're beefing up their cloud infrastructure to support the growing demand for AI applications. But even with all those chips, they're still running into supply chain issues.
Yeah, I read about that. It seems like even the big players are struggling to keep up with the demand for AI hardware.
It's a real bottleneck right now.
Yeah.
And it underscores the importance of those strategic partnerships, like the one between CoreWeave and weights and biases. Companies are realizing that they need to control as much of the AI ecosystem as possible if they want to stay ahead.
It's like a race to build the ultimate AI machine. But speaking of competition, what are some of the other big players doing? Google, Microsoft, what's their game plan?
Well, Google's DeepMind just unveiled 2 new AI models, Gemini Robotics and Gemini Robotics ER. And they're specifically designed to make robots smarter.
Smarter robots. Okay, I'm listening.
So these models are all about enhancing robots' ability to perform physical tasks, and not just tasks they've been explicitly trained for either. These robots can learn and adapt on the fly.
That sounds like a huge leap forward. What's the secret sauce?
Well, these Gemini models combine visual, language, and action capabilities. So the robots can learn from demonstrations, but they can also learn from their own experiences in the real world. It's like they're constantly getting better, more adaptable, more like humans.
So it's like they're bridging the gap between the digital world and the physical world?
Exactly. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for what robots can do. Meanwhile, Microsoft is doubling down on their partnership with OpenAI. They're integrating OpenAI's Responses API into their Azure cloud platform.
Summer move. Give developers easy access to some of the most powerful AI tools out there.
Right. It could give Microsoft a real edge in the cloud computing market. But it's not just about developer tools. Microsoft is also making AI more accessible to everyday users. Like, they've got this new AI voice chat hotkey. All you have to do is press Alt plus spacebar, and boom, you can start talking to your Copilot AI assistant.
It's like having an AI sidekick that's always there, ready to help.
Exactly. And these AI assistants are getting smarter all the time. Pretty soon, they'll be able to handle all sorts of tasks, from scheduling appointments to writing emails to maybe even making us laugh.
I, for one, welcome our AI overlords, especially if they can help me get through my to-do list.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But all this talk about AI companions does raise some interesting questions about the role of AI in content creation. We're seeing an explosion of AI tools that can generate text, images, even videos.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing what these tools can do, but it also raises some ethical concerns, right?
It does. Like, who owns the copyright to AI-generated content? And what about the potential for misuse? People are already using AI to create fake news articles and deepfakes.
It's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Exactly. And that's a real problem for trust and credibility. We need to figure out how to deal with these challenges before things get out of hand.
So it's like a double-edged sword. AI can be used to create amazing things, but it can also be used to deceive and manipulate.
Right. And as the technology gets more powerful, those risks are only going to grow.
So what can we do about it?
Well, for one, we need to develop better tools for detecting AI-generated content. And we need to educate people about the potential for AI to be used for nefarious purposes.
It's like we need to develop a kind of AI literacy so people can critically evaluate information in a world where AI-generated content is everywhere.
Exactly. But it's not all doom and gloom. AI can also be a powerful tool for creative expression. Artists and writers are already using AI to explore new forms of storytelling and visual art.
It's like AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the creative world.
It is. And that's really exciting. But even with all the positive applications of AI, it's crucial to remember that it's a tool. It's up to us to decide how it's used. We need to make sure that AI is developed and deployed ethically in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
That's a good reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget about the bigger picture. But speaking of the bigger picture, we've been focusing a lot on the tech side of things. What about the broader societal and ethical implications of AI?
That's a crucial part of the conversation. Like, what about job displacement? As AI becomes more capable, it's likely to automate tasks that are currently done by humans. We need to start thinking about how we're going to prepare for that transition and make sure everyone benefits from the rise of AI.
Right. And then there's the issue of algorithmic bias. We've already touched on that in the context of healthcare, but it's a problem that affects many areas of life. We need to make sure that AI systems are fair and impartial, that they don't perpetuate existing inequalities.
Absolutely. It's a complex issue, but it's one we need to address head-on. The future of AI depends on it.
It does feel like the conversation around AI is maturing. It's not just about the cool tech anymore. It's about how AI is going to impact our lives, our societies, our values.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It means we're starting to grapple with the really important questions.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our AI deep dive. We've talked about everything from agentic AI and the race for comprehensive ecosystems to the ethical challenges of AI in content creation and the broader societal implications of this technology.
And there's still more to come.
Exactly. So be sure to stick around for part 3, where we'll wrap things up and explore what all of this means for the future of AI.
You know, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about how far AI has come. I mean, we've gone from these basic rule-based systems to AI that can create realistic images, write stories, even control robots.
It's amazing, right? And we're still just scratching the surface. Who knows what AI will be capable of in 5-10 years? It's exciting for sure, but it also makes you wonder, like, are we opening Pandora's box here? Is there a point where AI becomes too powerful?
That's a question a lot of people are asking, and it's a valid concern. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It all depends on us, the humans who are developing it and using it.
So it's not about stopping AI, it's about making sure we use it responsibly.
Exactly. We need to be thoughtful about how we design AI systems, how we train them, how we deploy them, and we need to have ethical guidelines in place to make sure AI is used for good, not for harm.
I was reading about this company that's using AI to personalize cancer treatments. They're analyzing patients' genetic data to figure out which therapies will be most effective. That's pretty incredible.
That's the kind of thing that gets me really excited about the potential of AI. Using this powerful technology to improve human health, to save lives. Imagine a world where AI can help us diagnose diseases earlier, develop new treatments, maybe even prevent illnesses altogether.
That would be a game changer. But of course, there are also potential downsides. Like, what about job displacement? If AI can automate tasks that humans currently do, what happens to those workers?
That's a real concern, and it's something we need to start thinking about now. We need to figure out how we're going to prepare people for the jobs of the future, the jobs that AI can't do.
And then there's the issue of algorithmic bias. We talked about that in the context of healthcare, but it's a problem that can pop up in any area where AI is used.
Right. If an AI system is trained on biased data, it's going to produce biased results. And that can have serious consequences, especially when it comes to things like loan applications, hiring decisions, even criminal justice.
So we need to make sure that AI systems are fair and impartial, that they don't perpetuate existing inequalities.
Absolutely. That's a huge challenge, but it's one we can't ignore.
It does feel like the conversation around AI is shifting. It's not just about the technology itself anymore. It's about the impact AI is going to have on society, on our lives, on our values.
I think that's a really positive development. It means we're starting to ask the right questions.
One area where I see a lot of potential for AI is in education. Imagine AI tutors that can provide personalized instruction to every student, regardless of their background or learning style.
That's a really compelling idea. AI could help us create a more equitable and effective education system. It can make learning more engaging and accessible for everyone.
It could also free up teachers to focus on things that AI can't do, like mentoring students, fostering creativity, and building relationships.
Exactly. It's not about replacing teachers. It's about giving them the tools and support they need to be even more effective.
It seems like the key to harnessing the power of AI in education and in every other field is collaboration. Collaboration between researchers, developers, policymakers, educators, even the general public. We need everyone at the table to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
I completely agree. The future of AI is not something that's going to be decided by a small group of tech elites. It's something we all need to be a part of shaping.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the latest AI innovations to the ethical considerations that are shaping the field.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope you've learned something new about the incredible world of AI.
And remember, the AI revolution is still in its early stages. There's so much more to come. So stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay informed. The future of AI is in our hands.